scales keep changing on me. I don't know how that happens, but I kind of like how they've grown over the last couple of minutes. Anyhow, just in case you forgot, this is where we left off in the first episode.
So voila!
Now I have a suspicion that Vegan Cowboy is going to go on a little bit of a rant on the medical system. Let's see if my suspicion is on the right track. Now here's something we all want to know. When Aunt Hill Millie finds out that she wasn't invited to the taste test, how is she going to react? Vegan Cowboy, what are you doing eating in the dark?
Well, as you can see there, Aunt Hill Millie, only one side of me is in the dark.
Yeah, well, handed down the Makita man. He told me you was having a lentil soup taste test. And I want to know why I wasn't invited.
Nice to see you too there, Aunt Hill Millie. Well, you're going to have to do like everyone else who wasn't invited there, Aunt Hill Millie. Watch it on YouTube.
And then there's Handy Dan, the Makita man. Is he going to still try to drill it into you to become a vegan?
Yeah, you heard my cousins. Don't make me have to drill it into you.
And how hungry is that Leon Papillon guy? Is he going to want some of this talking lentil soup too?
J'ai faim en esti. I don't think it's going to win any awards. But I know I'm going to like it. Let's have a little taste of this. My lentil soup. Oy, hot. Pretty darn delicious. It took me, 20 minutes to make this? Definitely going to be on my daily list. Hearty salad. And my favorite, toasted tomato sandwich. Just because I happen to enjoy bread. I like bread with all my meals. One thing I forgot. Which reminds me, I forgot to finish telling you my story a while ago. Today for lunch, I had walnuts and a bagel with hummus on it and these cranberry raisins. And I don't know if it was just me or what, but you know what? I ate a fair amount of this stuff. And I was full. When I ate my lunch, I was feeling full. And I ate at 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And right now it is 9 p.m. and I'm just having my supper. And I'm hungry, mind you. But who wouldn't be? No matter what you would have had for lunch. You go for 8 hours between meals, which I don't do very often, but this is a bit of an exception today. I have, but I'm feeling fine, you know. And these things here, I don't know if they belong on here or what they're even used for. Chia seeds. Add to yogurt, cereal, or smoothies. Well, or how about add a little bit to your salad? Or maybe add a little bit to your lentil soup. There we go. It's all healthy stuff. I don't think it matters what you put things in. It all goes to the same place anyway and keeps you healthy while doing so. So I also want to get back to my other story that I never finished telling you a while ago, which was the reports that I got from my doctors when I went for my checkup. And after telling them that I drink a bottle of brandy a week, I smoke a pouch of hand-rolled tobacco a week, I work hard, I keep my brain in a positive direction, I avoid negative people. And at that time, I ate meat and potatoes primarily. But anyway, he said, well, whatever it is you're doing, just keep on doing it because you're one of the healthiest guys I've come across at your age. At which time, the last time was, I was about 58. Haven't been back to a doctor since. I have no intention of going to one. Which brings me to this next point. You can't even get a doctor anyway. So, I'm not going to sit in a waiting room in a hospital in emergency care for anything. The last time I went was about 2 years ago. I cut the tip of my finger off and I went to get that stitched up. Well, I was in the waiting room for 2 hours before, well, there still was no sign of a doctor coming. I said, to heck with this, I'll fix it myself, and which is what I should have done right from the onset. I went back home and I taped it up with a construction tape, and it's good as new today. That one right there. It was sensitive for about a year. You know, there's a lot of diehard people out there who, you know, they believe they've got to have their steak and potatoes and all that stuff. I used to be one of those people, so like I said, I don't want to preach to anybody, but take a look at your health, folks. And if you're not happy with your health, you get on a diet such as this and watch what happens within no time at all.
He's telling you the truth. If you want to improve your health, you've got to get away from the meat and poultry and fish, as well as dairy products and eggs. None of it is good for you. Sure, it tastes good. And yes, you get your protein and you get this and you get that. But there's a cost attached to it all. And the cost is in your health first. And as far as the animals go, the cost is greater for them even. Because not only do they die as a result to provide people with the gratification of having great taste come into their mouth, they suffer every day of their life on the journey to their death. Let's see what Vegan Cowboy has to say about that.
Look at some of these videos on what's happening to dairy animals, poultry. These imbeciles who do things such as stick a pitchfork right into the body of an animal just because it's not moving in the direction that he wants it to move. Well, if you were on your way to being slaughtered, would you not put up a bit of a fuss about which direction you're going to go? These animals don't want to be killed. They have a desire to live just as anybody else does. But these people who have their hands on the tools that are hurting these animals, how do they sleep at night? I can't even imagine. But they're all going to meet their maker one day and they're going to all be judged accordingly. So it's not up to me to judge, but I will still observe. And I will keep letting people know that when you eat an egg, when you drink a glass of milk, when you eat a hamburger, when you have a slice of cheese, you are contributing to that corrupt industry.
And corrupt it is. It's all about the money. It's not about your health. It's about the money.
Just in case you were wondering if I didn't want to show my face, I have no problem showing my face.
And such a handsome face it is too, don't you think? So, Vegan Cowboy, what are your thoughts on why people do things the way they do? Why?
I don't know exactly how to word this next thing, but I'm going to see if I can phrase it in a way that makes sense. People do things without even giving any thought to it, for the most part. Now, they do their job, depending on what their job is, they may have to be very focused.
Yeah, focused. Just like I am.
But other jobs can be pretty mindless.
You said it, Vegan Cowboy! Mindless, just like I used to be!
So they just do it mindlessly. Then they go home at the end of the day and they do other mindless things such as watch TV all night, or who knows what they do.
Now, does this story have a point to it? I'd like to know. So I would.
The point I'm getting at is people do things without conviction, which brings me back to eating meat and dairy and poultry and drinking milk. They do it without giving any thought to it. But the moment someone says anything about what is going on in the meat and dairy industry, they're ready to defend it with their life. So I guess this is the question I want to ask. Are you people, is your conviction that strong about supporting the meat and dairy industries that you would die for your conviction? I put you up to the challenge.
Now there's a question worth asking. And not only that, it's a question worth answering. You've got to give it some serious thought.
Anything I believe in, I ask myself, do I believe in this enough that I would die with that belief? Or would I waffle if I had to defend my belief to death? And if a person cannot say, yes, I believe to that degree that I will defend my belief to death, then you're not all that convicted in your belief. But you folks who are headed toward severe health problems, such as type 2 diabetes, heart failure, and whatever else comes with eating improperly, I guess if that's the direction you want to head in, I guess you are defending your belief right to death. In that case, I would have to ask you, how's that working for you? If you don't like the direction that you're heading, you can always go down a different street.
Carrying on with an unhealthy eating lifestyle is only going to speed up the whole process for you. So is that really the direction you want to go?
And like I said, I'm not preaching. I'm just sharing what I believe to be true for me. And as far as, it's a lot of work to do this kind of stuff. You know what? Preparing this meal was no more difficult than doing anything else I ever cooked. In fact, it was probably easier, and if anything, a whole lot tastier.
Well, it just might win an award after all.
And if I'm hungry again in the next 3 hours, well, I'll be in bed. But nothing wrong with having a bowl of cereal before I go to bed. I always did anyway. But I don't think I'm going to be very hungry after I finish eating this soup.
What do you think of that soup there, Vegan Cowboy? Is it missing anything?
I've got to say it's lacking a little bit of flavor somewhere. It is delicious. But I would like it to taste a little bit sweeter, so I don't know. Maybe I could stick some brown sugar in with it the next time. I don't know. Or something to make it sweeter. But that's just my taste buds. Hope to see you in the next video. Don't know what I'm going to be doing yet, but we'll find out.
We all end up dying. There's no argument there. It's just a question of dying prematurely as opposed to after you've lived a nice, complete, happy, healthy life. But how can you be happy if you're not healthy? How can you be productive if you're not healthy? So it boils down to this, folks, as far as I can see. If you're not happy as a result of not being healthy, and as we and many, many people are demonstrating, much of it has to do with the food that we're consuming. Does it not make sense to change that path? You know, after all, a vegan lifestyle is not difficult to do, but you do have to make the decision, and it makes it become very, very simple to do. We're trying our best to not be too hard on anybody. We know that it's hard to break old habits. It took us 63 years to break our old habit of eating meat and dairy products. It's really important, folks, to understand that the animals suffer an indescribable amount every single day of their life. From the debeaking of chicks, to the macerating of male chicks, to the removal of calves from their mothers on the day they're born, the forced impregnation of dairy cattle by artificial insemination. That is not a pretty sight. Certainly, no animal should ever have to go through that. Now, we don't talk about fish that often, but there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening as a result of fish farms as well, causing disease to occur among the wild fish, where the farms are planted right in the ocean itself. Animals are killed by the trillions every year. Trillions. The American national debt pales in comparison. The point we are trying to make is this. Going vegan is a compassionate decision that people make. It's also a decision to keep their health on a good track so that they end up living a long, healthy life. And as I said earlier, we are all going to die eventually. But a question that everybody has got to ask themselves is this. Do I want to die a natural death with as little suffering as possible? Or do I want to suffer and be on extreme pain medications so as to not feel the pain that comes attached to dying with cancer of any sort? Not that cancer is the only disease that can be caused as a result of eating meat and dairy and poultry and fish. Having to contend with having diabetes for the last 20 or 30 or 40 years of your life is not a pleasant place to be either. There are many other types of health issues that derive from that lifestyle that, yes, can be controlled with medications. But from that point on, you've got to watch every step you make. You know what, folks? We as vegans don't have to be watching every step we make. We eat well. We love the taste of our food. We make fabulous desserts. We get all the protein, all the nutrients that we need from eating a plant-based diet. The meat and dairy industries want to convince the masses that you need meat and dairy and poultry and fish in your diet, when the exact opposite is the truth. There are millions and millions of vegans on the planet, and it's growing every day. Check it out and find out. Ask a simple Google question. How many vegans are there on the planet? Maybe they even have a picture of me.